Hey everybody, it's me, Opti, and this, everything around you, encompassing you, binding us all together, is the Optiverse, in which the Justicars are the greatest heroes of all, with Astro Chimp trailing far behind Optimist as the most popular. But anyway, welcome to episode 4 of the Justicars. We are excited to be here. Unfortunately, due to the events of last episode, Core is still knocked out and recovering, so she won't be with us today. But the rest of us are here. For example, Clifton. He's going to introduce himself right now and tell you why you should care.
Hello, I'm Clifton, and you should care probably because I'm the GM, and I'm the person who's in charge of coming up with all the villains who make up their dastardly plots and schemes that our heroes get to attempt to foil and suffer in the process of doing so. That's my specialty.
And next, needing no introduction because he's the second most popular Justicar, Lang.
Second. All right. Okay, I'll take it. I'll give you the first spot, Opti. It's your show after all. But yeah, I'm Lang. I play everybody's second favorite Pogo, that incredible Astro Chimp. You know, I make gadgets, I shoot stuff, I run a whole bunch of different games.
And I should note that I keep saying I doth protest too much. Everybody loves Astro Chimp more than everybody else, so we can just suffer under that weight of responsibility. Well, next is Bob.
Your audio cut off after said next is, at least on my
Bob.
end.
Next is Bob.
Good evening, everybody. I'm the straight man of the group here. Good old Gravistar. Just here to offset Astro Chimp's popularity a little bit there.
There's nothing. Well, I was gonna say there's nothing straight about you, but anyway, Whitney.
You cut out, but I think you were introducing me.
Whitney. I need to hold I need to hold the button down way more.
I'm Whitney. I play Aether. And hello.
And this talkative bunch is the Justicars, and we're gonna crush evil today. Are you guys ready?
Astro Chimp was created ready.
Let somebody give us a recap of what happened last time, because I remember. Well, it was after a weekend of streamathoning, but I think I remember us going to rescue General Maxon, and finding a bunch of other people in these pods along with General Maxon. But I think I also remember that there was like another Gravistar-like being who was the scientist who was experimenting on or doing something with these people. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, there did seem to be another Gravistar-like being. Well, Gravistar-like in appearance and powers. How did you feel about that, Gravistar?
Well, it certainly caught me off guard. I thought I was one of a kind, but it's definitely piqued my interest. I kind of wish we'd been able to, I guess, interrogate him or investigate that a little further, but unfortunately there was a bit of an explosion we had to deal with.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of a fight there in which actually Core got dropped. Oh man, I've gotten good at one-shotting heroes lately. I got to do that in Killing Time Part 1 with crap, what was his name? One of the guys from the future.
I can't remember his name. I can't remember his future name.
I'm embarrassed now. I remember, James.
Yeah,
player, right?
Right. What was his name, chat? His name was
And his story will continue because he was survived, brought back from the very brink of death by the giant syringe invented by Astro Chimp for the, T-Rex.
Oh, that's right. His name was Bastion. Bastion was his name.
Bastion, yes, thank you.
That was great.
Even when I'm not around, I help save the day.
All right, and yes, pardon my post-streamathon haze, as well as the complication of it's it's a thing that happens to you when you GM like lots and lots of campaigns, is keeping track of certain details in some of them. So how did we exactly end up at the last session? I don't remember exactly what we ended on as far as what scene. I know you rescued General Max and a few others.
The last thing I remember was getting Core out and Gravistar, maybe Opti staying behind, but we rescued those other people, and then you said, and next time we'll discover who was in the pods along with General Maxon. I think that's where we left it. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some of us stayed and then Core was rescued. I don't remember who all stayed and who went, though.
I took Cora and jumped and flew out, and I believe we ended with Optimus carrying the naked body of General Maxon outside.
That's right.
Before we go too much further, I want everybody to give a little bit of praise to Kebalak, who has been the first to take advantage of defeating the stream boss. The stream boss is that little guy who looks like a dice in the bottom, and every time somebody donates or subscribes to the channel, the stream boss gets attacked. And if you attack the stream boss and you are the last one to get its hit points all the way down, you become the next stream boss. And if you do that, then you can give a reroll to a character, or you can give a complication. You can introduce a complication to the heroes or villains. So Kebalak has told me that I get the reroll. I get the hero point. So yay, Kebalak, yay, Optimist. And everybody, if you like your favorite characters to do well, then give them hero points or give them rerolls. Or if you just want to mess with your players, we had that a couple of times during the streamathon, which was really fun. You can just tell us what happens in the scene next if you defeat the stream boss. So we'll carry on from there. And thanks again, Kebalak. So yeah, what happens now, Mr. J?
All right, what happens now is, I guess we'll pick up to a little bit later on as you're just sort of looking over some of the details back at HQ. What did you want done with the other people who are, well, actually, what do you want to do with General Maxon and the rest of the people?
What's his
turning them over to hospitals or taking them back to your HQ? How are you? What are you doing with their actual forms?
What's General Maxon's demeanor like? Is he hurt in some way? Is he unconscious?
He appears to be unconscious. He's been hooked up to this machine. It looks like he might have a few different odd, like, kind of unusual shapes and welts where things were attached here and there, but otherwise seems to be intact and healthy. As far as you can tell, do you have any skills in medicine?
I don't, no. Well, maybe I should check. I'm going to go with no, but let me check.
See, otherwise we should probably send him to a hospital or something, and then just maybe periodically check in on him, or have somebody call us when he's awake, and just try to help make sure he doesn't get taken or whatever.
No, I don't, by the way.
Gravistar?
I am not a doctor either. I suggest we take him to a hospital.
All right, the other people are a really, really buff-looking woman, also unconscious, a younger-looking boy, probably a teenager, like a young teen, like 14 or 15 years old, kind of a short brown hair and just starting to get some pimples, got that gangly look about him, and then the other person. Let's see. That was the third person was never defined, so I'd like to throw that out to chat at the moment, while we go ahead and deal with figuring out what's to be done with these people and who they are. Let's let chat decide who the third captive is. So
the third captive beyond General Maxon?
Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
The fourth captive then, to be
Gotcha.
more precise. Yeah, given that General Maxon is probably a potential high-value target, you're going to take him to a regular hospital and just arrange for the police to watch over him then. You've got these other three, rather. There's the bodybuilder woman, the young teenage boy, and someone else.
The chat says NB Wolf.
That's like one of the first. That's already been picked. Okay, that's one of the first ones. That's the buff woman. I mean,
All right.
you just haven't had a chance to met NB Wolf yet, so.
Nice. The third person is Astro Chimp's long lost brother, Brain Chimp.
No chimps, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Oh, why not? Sure. The last one, actually, you open up the pod and it's not actually a person, but it's a chimp, and it looks very much like Astro Chimp.
Oh my gosh.
Why not? Let's frag and do it. At first, I was like, I don't know, but like,
We do what you want, chat. We're here for you.
Let's do that. We can roll with it. Maybe not every aspect of that idea, but at least it's a chimp.
Eartho Chimp.
We'll start with that.
This is a chimp that was born in space and sent to Earth as an experiment. Nega Chimp.
With a mustache and goatee.
Yeah, it's if Astro Chimp doesn't know who this chimp is, he's gonna be very skeptical.
Oh my God! Is this entire facility made up of like alternate forms of the Justicars?
Is this just like a regular chimp then? If he's not like super smarter, I think he's just a chimp.
As far as you can tell, it looks like Astro Chimp, but I mean, like one chimp probably looks more or less the same as another to you, except the ones that are in spacesuits, right?
I am. Astro Chimp is very offended.
Well, it's the GM talking, so he's not actually aware of the conversation. So Astro Chimp cannot be offended in this case.
All right.
Unless Ether voices what the GM has been whispering in her ear, then she can tell on me and you can be offended. But yeah, to humans, I'm afraid one chimp looks much like another. But to Astro Chimp even, you see this unconscious chimp and it looks a lot like you. I mean, like, part of your mind is probably rejecting how much it really looks like you, because it really looks like you.
He's gonna look at it and he's gonna says, I don't like this. There's only one of me. Why does that thing look like me? Opti?
Once you check a little closer, you realize that the chimp is female. I won't describe the details of how that is figured out, but
I don't know how to answer that question. I don't think it looks just like you. We're all unique in our own way.
Astro Chimp, cover your ears for a minute. Hey, do we take it to the vet's office or the hospital?
Yeesh. I think we should take it back to HQ. In fact, I think we should take them all back to HQ. If there's any metas among them, probably more easily handled at headquarters than just simply giving them over to the authorities and watching chaos ensue. I think Astro Chimp could probably take care of their physical needs. Am I right?
Well, I don't have any professional medical experience, but I do have I'm one of the smartest people on this planet.
Right? Can you read a medical book on the way home?
Unless maybe you could just have some sort of doctor come to our HQ for them, because I think they need medical attention.
All right, I'm going to swipe to the next page where you are all on the Justicars, heading back home. You've been sort of discussing this from one panel to another as we cut from, like, you're in the process of moving up, loading these people up, taking off and flying, right? So as you're flying, then there's and discussing things, there's suddenly like a thump in the back, and one of you is actually in the back, kind of keeping an eye on things. Which one of you is it?
I'll do that.
Okay, so Ether, you're hanging out. Are you wearing your body right now?
Yeah, sure. Because I gotta be able to talk to other people.
And just in case we have new listeners here or new viewers here, go ahead and describe what the frag I'm talking about. Ether, just a super little bit about your powers and how you go about doing things.
My character doesn't have a body. She's missing her body, and so she's currently possessing a human that is mentally not present anymore, and that is what type of body she has at the moment. And she generally can possess other people too, if she feels like it. And if I roll good.
Alright, Ether, describe the sort of the back of the Justicar, or whatever section of the Justicar that you're in, that's designed for temporary storage of prisoners, and what it's like and how it's set up, and where you are. Sort of the rig of the Justicar, so to speak. And it's going to be tiny because the Justicar is only so big, right?
Right. I'm assuming there's like, man, I don't know why there would be windows back there, but for the sake of if that's where I am to be able to look behind where we are, then there's probably windows.
You may describe this however you like.
Oh gosh. Well, honestly, if that's where prisoners are, I mean, I guess if they escape, then they're gonna fall. So yeah, sure, there's windows to let some sunlight in, because we're gonna try to save a little more energy with this jet.
Let's say there's a chamber, not so big. It doubles as a cargo space if need be.
Yeah, so there's probably like a couple little holding cells and stuff, and then there's also like an area to keep cargo and that kind of thing, and then maybe the windows like actually at the back end of that hallway, and that's kind of, she's sitting maybe near there and just kind of keeping an eye on like what's outside and around from the back side of the jet.
All right. Well, you're suddenly aware of a loud thump that comes from the direction of the holding cells. It sounds like a metallic bang. And then it's followed by another one, and then another one, and this really unpleasant wrenching sound. Fortunately, the unpleasant wrenching sound isn't accompanied by the rush of air or the shudder of the plane, so there's that. What are you going to do?
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to, I guess, alert the others at first. Sounds like there's maybe some sort of hole. Is that what I'm gathering from this?
Yeah, you're where you are, and you hear from the direction of the holding cells like thump, thump, or thump, and then thump, thump, wrench, and then, yeah, what do you want to do? What do you say?
Okay. Yikes. I'm going to hurry over towards there and just kind of,
all right,
yeah,
so
I'm going to go past.
You hurry over towards there. You see off to the left side, there's the boy who's slumped down and restrained. And you come up to the next one just to sort of like kind of move forward and see what happens. And suddenly there's this roar and a rush, and it bends in. And there's this just rush, like your vision is filled with dark furry shape that slams across into the hall and turns towards you. Just all you see is teeth and tongue and eyes and saliva, and it just roars in your face with this just pained rage. I think let's roll for initiative. All of you can roll initiative on this. Who's currently piloting the Justicar?
Probably Gravistar.
Yeah, we'll say Core is in a medical pod, keeping her in stasis until she can be looked over by a medic back at the HQ.
Does anybody have piloting, actually? Because I don't think I do.
But this thing's got
do not.
autopilot, so
Okay.
might as well be me.
You got the skills to fly the autopilot?
You're directing the autopilot then. So everyone can go ahead and give me an initiative roll. And I'm having trouble logging into Roll20 for some reason, so if you just call them off verbally for me, please.
Got a 14.
Oh, I got a 12.
Bigoted Doom, 27.
Woo!
For some reason, Astro Chimp can't drive.
It's nothing personal, but it's just not made for chimps.
Either? What are you at?
Sorry, I thought you heard me. I said 10.
Thank you. All right, 27. The Optimist, you're sort of up. But where are you on the Justicar at the moment? It's just sort of mid-flight on the way back home.
I would probably be up front talking to Gravistar, talking maybe about like, wow, like that was I didn't know you could hold back that much power, and what was up with that doppelganger, that kind of stuff. So do I hear this?
Suddenly, yeah, there's a boom, boom, and some sort of sounds like a bestial roar from in there, and it sounds like Ether's trying to say something, but her mic is getting overpowered, and there's distortion and possibly screaming. But I'll leave that up to Ether.
Okay, well, I will fly back. I don't know if I can fly back or not. Maybe I'll just run back, which will drastically reduce my protection because I'm way more protected when I'm flying. But I'll run back to see what I can see.
Describe the 3 cabins that you passed through on the way down to the brig.
So the top one, the top one is more of a lounge area, and so I pass, I pass the full bar, and an Optimist never gets drunk, so he loses control. But he's a gregarious drinker, and people love him when he provides his homemade beer, and so he's got stacks of that in the lounge area, and then down is the lavatory. And he looks fondly at the restroom because he likes his time alone. And then on the way down, he the stairs. He doesn't trip, but he always is very careful when he's going downstairs to hold the railing because that's the right thing to do.
Okay, when you get down there, you see this scene of Ether standing there, in her, normal body that she wears, and standing directly in front of her, down the hall. Is this gigantic, friggin' big wolfed out, hulked out werewolf thing. And it's torn out of the brig, apparently. You're not sure which of the people that you brought with turned into this. But whatever it is, it's huge. It's just hugely muscle bound, giant teeth, glowing red eyes, just big, massive, scary werewolf in the hall. And it looks angry.
Has it attacked anyone yet, or is it just angering?
It's just busted out of its cage so far, it looks like.
Well, I'm going to throw my de-escalation beam at it. It's one of my Light of Hope array powers, and it's an Affliction 12. So it just let me see. Yeah, I have to hit with it first. So. 21.
Uh, 21 will just hit.
And so it's got a.
What does your beam look like as it flies out and strikes it?
So this beam is actually quite soft. It's like a powder blue, and it's very soothing. So that if you see it, you might think like, "Oh, that's very nice." It reminds me of. It reminds me of being a very young child. It reminds me of the walls of my nursery or a pretty diaper, and yeah, it's just very calming.
Okay, and it's what's the DC for will to? Is it will?
It is will, and it is 22.
Okay, so you hit the thing with the soft ray, and it hits the werewolf in the face. It looks kind of dazed for a moment, and then it goes, no!
So it wasn't de-escalated.
It seems to be more escalated now, and on its turn, it's going to reach out with one of its giant clawed arms right at Ether, and does a 22 hit you? With your
I'm
dodge
sure
plus 10?
Probably does. Let me check. Oh, dodge plus 10. Well, are my stats for my body or are they for me out of body?
I think they're the same either way.
Okay, so then it does not hit me.
Okay, so misses, and it the arm slams into the wall, which is like outer hull of the Justicars. So it's reinforced, right? Because it's a super jet. If this were a commercial one, there'd be a hole in the fuselage. You'd be all in deep doo-doo. Fortunately, it's just horribly dented in the shape of the fist, and this thing roars out. And I want both of you to give me a perception test. As it just this bestial growl and roar. And Optimist, how about you?
Perception check.
Yes. I will say either as he's rolling, you hear star.
Like it actually talks.
Star. Yeah. Opti, how about you?
I'm trying to get to it. Hold on.
Okay. As you're doing that, we will move on to Astro Chimp. It's your turn.
25. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to cut back to Opti now since he made his roll finally.
I was interacting with the chat.
Fair enough. But just with a 25, you can make out actually this thing's trying to talk and it's yelling, "Roar, you bastards! Where is Pride Star?" It seems angry and somewhat intelligible, like maybe it's not a mindless beast, but it's really mad. And you're getting kind of an angry, protective vibe from it, not so much of a I'm gonna murder everyone in your village vibe. And Astro Chimp, it's your turn.
All right, Astro Chimp is gonna go towards the noise. He's gonna slide down the rail. And it's not gonna hold it, he's just gonna slide down.
You get down there and you see, there's this giant werewolf-looking thing. It's big. Yeah, it's tearing up the Justicar, actually. It's put a dent in the fuselage.
All right, Astro Chimp is a bit touchy after having, Core, after seeing Core, it put it into a medical coma. And so he's still wearing the t-shirt, the best friend's t-shirt, and he's gonna grab he's not gonna take chances. He grabs he does the quick draw off his pistol, and he's like, listen here, furball, right? I'm tired of your goddamn super villains in this goddamn city, and he's gonna shoot him in the face with his laser pistol.
All right, take your shot.
Does a 28 hit?
Oh, that absolutely hits, yes.
All right, so, and the effect is 27.
I'm glad there's no cameras around to capture those profanities.
You blast, kind of like upper shoulder, not quite in the face, and it goes, "Ow!" And next we will go to, let's see, who is next? On 12, Gravistar. You're overseeing the autopilot. What are you going to do?
Start taking this down in case this thing goes really sideways. I don't want my team to be 5,000 feet in the air.
Okay, well, there's a bit of a complication with that, and I'll toss you a hero point for this. You're actually over the city now, and there isn't any, safe place to come down. There's going to be, tall buildings or, populated apartments or a residential area down there. You can come down lower, but if you hit something, it's going to be casualties. So, as you're kind of telling the autopilot to take it down, it's the Justicars, and actually I should do that in character with the Justicar. Just to inform you, we are in a highly populated urban environment. I do not recommend crashing in this location. People besides you might be hurt. And
is that something everybody in the ship can hear?
Possibly, it might be patched into your comms. We'll move on to Ether, it's your turn. Wow, you're up close to this really, really furry thing with its drool is dripping down. You can feel the heat and the pungent humidity of its breath. Your ears are ringing from its roars. What do you do?
All right. Is there a way for, if I was to kind of look, because I've been paying attention to this, is there a way for me to kind of get back away from it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
back behind.
Grabbing me or something.
It tried to, but you were not hit. You leapt out of the way.
Okay. So yeah, if I can get away from it and then like maybe duck into one of the cells, and like close the cell door,
Okay.
kind of to lock myself in. Can I do that in a turn?
Sure. So
I
you
want to
like
hop out of my body.
you stick your hand on the thing. The cell door opens. You jump in, close it again. You're in there with the unconscious teenage boy, and you plop down unconscious as you project out. Well, you don't plop down unconscious. Your body drops to the ground, apparently unconscious, as back to its vegetative state as your consciousness leaves it. I think that's going to take up your turn.
I'm sure it probably will.
We'll move on back around to top of the turn. Opti, the optimist, on 27.
Okay, so this time I noticed that my de-escalation may not have been powerful enough. I need to crank it up. So I'm going to use power attack and take a -5 to hit to increase my damage output by 5, or my power effect by 5.
All right, so you power up your de-escalation beam. It's much brighter and broader.
So that is
perhaps less
a
accurate.
19, which I...
Unfortunately, you de-escalate mostly the ceiling. And
ceiling
not
is very mellow
not
now.
the werewolf. Yeah, the
All right.
ceiling is totally not going to get involved in this fight. He might have been considering stepping in and joining one side or the other, but now it's just going to stay out of it. So. Moving on to the werewolf, who just suddenly just roars. It sees where you went and looks in and says, "Ah! Rah! Rah!" And a perception test for anyone who's present and wants to attempt to understand. Difficulty is 20 to get the whole thing, or 15 to just get a piece. As you're doing that, the werewolf, it's ripping apart, just grabs and sticks its claws in one side or the other of this the opening to this brig thing, which I imagine is like as an energy field, and just tears basically the door frame out and tosses it to the side, leaving basically the body that Ether normally uses laying there, as well as the teenage boy, and it looks over and sniffs him. And licks his cheek. Says, "Boy!" No, it's a roaring. What'd you guys get for your perception tests?
16.
16 as well. So both of us.
Okay, so you guys pick up it said at some point "boy" a couple of times. It also seems it's not like directly attacking one of you now. It's like torn open. It's been very concerned about recovering this person, and it scoops him up and kind of holds him protectively and glares down at the downed form of Ether. So next is Astrochimp's turn.
All right, so has Ether's body been ripped apart? Is that what I heard?
Possibly. You saw this thing tear the door off of where the brig where Ether's body went into, and it's been boy, and then it's like moving around and thumping and whatever. You don't know what's happening in that cell. It could be ripping apart Ether's body.
All right, Chimp's a rational creature. He knows Ether's gonna survive even though the body's ripped apart. So he's gonna, let's see, what moment. All right, so this thing appears to be talking, but Chimp is having a hard time understanding it. But even though he's kind of mad, he doesn't want to kill a sentient creature. So he's gonna take out one of his invention, which is the mind probe, and he puts on this little Professor X. Professor something cerebro in his head, and he turns it on, and he's gonna try to read this creature's mind.
Okay. Is there just a will save against that?
Yeah, just a will save.
Oh, I rolled like crap. So what does your power do? It probably works.
Yeah, it's read mine. So I think I actually have to roll for it too. Let me just double check real quick. All right, so
Looks like Core is here in spirit.
yeah, proposed
Sarah
test.
is sick and gross and didn't want to join us because, well, didn't want, not that she didn't want to join us, but that she was not able to. So that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better, Sarah, as well as Macchiato is apparently is also sick and gross as well. Their own words. I'm not calling them that. I'm just going along with and sympathizing. So.
Yeah, Chimp
All
is
right.
still wearing that friendship shirt. So it's gonna be 17 plus 12.
No, I'd like it totally fails that roll. Like, what's the effect that happens?
That depends on how much it fails by. What degree?
What?
All right,
Let's
so
see, by 11.
degree 11. So that's like 3 degrees. So you can read the subject's memories and recollections. This allows you to perceive them exactly as the target recalls them, 1 memory per round. So I can probably probe around. I'll be looking for memory that relates to what's going on right now.
Okay, so memory that relates to what's going on right now is that this person remembers being in this facility that you recognize because you were just there and being like probably prodded and tested on, just brief flashes of generally unpleasant not wanting to be there. And you think that she believes, or not she, they, you get they from that, they're non-binary. They believe that they are still captives of whoever you rescued them from, and they're going to fight their way out and get their friend.
Right? Can I use my move
Also,
action?
they're absolutely astonished and horrified that Astro Chimp has joined these evil villains.
God damn it. All right, yeah. So he's
They
gonna.
thought Astro Chimp was a hero, damn it.
Oh man.
Right, he's gonna turn to Optimus. It's like,
You realize, though, this thing's about to tear a hole in the plane because they don't realize they're in a plane.
Tell him.
yeah, it's right. I'm gonna. Not, Astro's Chimp is many things, but charismatic is not one of them. So he's gonna turn to Optimus and says, "Optimus, these are victims. They're confused. Shit, I shouldn't have shot them. Optimus, you gotta do your thing and calm them down. You're the only one who can do it. Tell them we're not the enemies. We're not the ones that trapped them in those vats or scientific mumbo jumbo."
Well, I don't mean to tell you how to do your job, but maybe less cussing and shooting people in the face.
All right, Gravistar, we cut to you. Like you're seeing the planes descending some, and now you're coming in low over the city. Technically flying illegally, but you're the I'm stuttering. The Justicars, and you've got some leeway on that, right? So. You probably don't want to crash in this situation, but the autopilot seems to know its thing. The Justicar seems to fly itself pretty well. It does sound like there's more banging around back there and some resulting turbulence. What are you going to do?
Just try to get us to a safe zone as quick as you can. And I'm going to head for the back as well then. See what I can do.
Okay, the Justicar is sort of boosting up the afterburners some and zooming past some tall buildings as it's ascertaining it. It would probably be best to maybe land back at the HQ or near it soon. So it's heading in that direction. Next turn, you should get home or close to it. As you move toward the back, then you come upon this scene, and I guess your movement just takes you there. What are you going to do with your action? Anything in particular? It's pretty cramped down here now, by the way.
going to gravity shield for the jet itself in case another blow ends up hitting the fuselage. Give it some added protection.
Okay, you're roboting out a bunch there, but I think I was able to make out that you are using your gravity powers to strengthen the wall of the plane, so you don't end up with a hole in the plane. And I believe we have a new stream boss, so someone want to toss me a hero point to use to complicate things? Or you could give it to one of the heroes, I guess.
What? Palmer? Yeah, complicated. Wait. Has Crazy also had one that he or they had won, but they didn't ever say who they were giving their reroll or their complication to.
Oh, okay. So while we wait for that, I'm going to cut to Ether, who is now out of her body. And what are you going to do?
I doubt it, but I'm going to try to possess this doggo.
Okay. That's a 27 to resist on a will. I don't think that's going to work.
Oof. Okay, yeah, probably not.
It's very, very strong-willed. That was a good roll, too. Okay, so I think Palmer gave one to me.
Yep.
All right, now am I supposed to use that as later reroll, or am I supposed to use that to complicate things right now?
No, you don't complicate things. If they want to introduce complications, they have to tell us what the complication is, or else you just get a reroll.
Gotcha. I'll have a reroll for later. Sounds good. I will keep that in mind. Thank you, Palmer. I will use it maliciously. All right. Moving on to the next turn, the Optimist. You've been informed that this is a confused victim, not an enemy supervillain. You hope.
So I'm going to use, I'm going to first do the exact same thing. I'm going to power up my de-escalation light, swing wildly, and hope that it does an extra powered oomph. So -5 to the attack, +5 to the effect.
All right, let's see if you can hit.
20. I think you said 21 was exactly what I needed last time. Unless you were just rounding out. But if that doesn't hit, I'm gonna re-roll and use my hero point.
A 20 is indeed a miss.
Okay, so hero point. And I got the exact same, so we'll just add 10 to it. So that'd be a 30.
All right, you definitely hit, and yeah, that was a really, really poor roll for me. So all the things happen from your de-escalation beam.
Okay.
So what are the circumstances, or the conditions, I should say?
The first one is entranced, which means stunned, and they can only pay attention to the entrancing effect. The second is stunned, like fully stunned, and the third is unaware. Unable to make interaction or perception checks or perform any actions based on them. So basically just kind of, wobbly and not attacky. If anybody messes with them, they will snap out of it and go back to ragey.
What they do then, what happens here is you just pour this on, and you hit it like just it powers up more and more, and they huddle over the boy that they've just taken, and sort of just seems to, as if to shield them from your beam and from other harm, and then starts to shrink and get a lot less hairy. Not by shedding, mind you. The hair seems to go somewhere, who knows. And before long, there is a very, very muscular woman cradling this teenage boy. And they are just sort of holding them in a daze, but still like very protectively. Like you would have a hard time targeting the boy without hitting this woman.
We were never actually targeting the boy, right?
No. But they seem to be concerned about them, so... Yeah, they're not unconscious or anything, but they're basically just kind of dazed and no longer wolfed out.
Okay.
And I think we're at the end of the combat. There's no more threat to the plane unless you somehow escalate things again.
So I'm actually gonna take a page from them and let Astro Chimp be the one to make contact and see if he can figure out what's going on. Maybe it's time to wake them up on purpose, and so we can prevent being ambushed again.
So I'm gonna do a little bit more mind reading, so I can just get a sense of what they are. So when they wake up, we can sort of have something to work from.
That's the first time my de-escalation beam has worked, by the way. That's.
Yeah.
I think I've slung it like 4 or 5 times before, but never did anything.
And sorry, Astro Chimp, what were you doing again? One more time, I missed part of that.
I'm just gonna read I'm gonna do a little quick mind reading of the werewolf and the little child, and sort of like I just want to. I'm not trying to probe too deep into their personal thoughts. More like trying to get a better gist of how to calm them down if we wake them back up again and they go werewolf.
Okay. Yeah, you get the sense that this person, just from their memories, they are. They seem to be fully aware of themselves and their actions when they're a werewolf, though they tend to act more on instinct and are a bit more impulsive. But it's not like they turn into a mindless thing that goes and eats and kills people, right? So you get that out of them. They just have this other form they can shift onto. And the further you go back, basically they were captured and put through this weird, excruciating ritual that involved some other human sacrifices by some creepy people that they never actually got a chance on seeing, and were dumped somewhere, and they basically make their way in life just working various odd jobs and trying to get by, and sometimes wolf out, but they're usually in control, but sometimes they're not. There's a few times where they've sort of blacked out and there are reports of bad things happening, and I guess about a few months ago they were recently captured, and they've been basically attempted to be recruited by Monarch a number of different times and weren't interested, and so became a curiosity and experiment subject.
Right. Astro Chimp knows a thing or two about being the subject of experiments, so he's gonna hand off his laser pistol to Opti. All right, time to do this.
There's the other kid is Pride Star, who they are familiar with just from meeting here at this place. Pride Star is a variant who was basically captured by Monarch and recruited, sort of was involved in some low-level gang activity, and then pulled in once their powers started to show up, and didn't want to be involved in villainy, but then became again a test subject and sort of a fellow victim and prisoner as well. So the werewolf thinks of themselves as NB, like spelled out, but I mean also stands like NB as in non-binary, and thinks of themselves as not as a hero so much as someone who's trying to get by and do the best they can, but like they would rather not be involved in superhero stuff, but they're not going to stand by and let good people get hurt.
Well, they also reject the binary nature of superheroics, it seems. That's valid. I don't subscribe to it, but it's a valid perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, the most of what you're going to get out of NB without doing some serious probing into, younger history and a bunch of stuff that's not really relevant to what's going to go in the comic book. So,
yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to pull out as far as mental probing of NB here?
No, that's all I need. And I'm gonna kind of like disarm myself a little bit. So I hand off the pistol to Optimus, and I take my helmet off, and I let Optimus know that NB prepares they them pronouns. because we'll go on and we'll wake up the woman, and I'm gonna try to have my hands up so she sees that I'm not holding my firearm, and have my helmet off, and try to smile at her, being very disarming.
Okay, so Optimist, you sort of release NB from your beam, and they look up, and they're initially calm, right? So there's a little bit of bewilderment. Astrochimp, why are you working for these people? How could you?
So,
you can see her eyes sort of well up with tears, or their eyes well up with tears. Sorry.
look, I'm sorry. I should have. I've recently almost lost a friend, and I've been a little trigger happy. I should not have attacked you as I did. I apologize, but I assure you, these people, Optimist, one of the greatest heroes I know. We help people out. We try to help people out, and we rescued you from that horrendous lab that you and your friends were in. And we will. And I apologize for attacking you.
I don't mean to interrupt, and I'm so sorry. I was not shooting you to hurt you. It was a calm down ray, and I'm sorry if it was perceived as an attack.
No, it was actually rather pleasant, but
I've heard that.
I thought you were one of them. I'm sorry for. We aren't in the place anymore, are we? We're on a plane, and that's one of the reasons we needed to take action. Plane?
Yeah.
And she just like tenses up completely. They tense up. Just how high up are we? What's our altitude?
Not
what
very
brand of plane
high.
is it? I don't like flying. I suppose it's better than being underground wherever I was. I'm sorry. I should thank you for rescuing us. I am NB. I am a they them as well. Says those are my preferred pronouns. This is Pride Star. He will awaken, I assume. Is he okay? Have you been able to ascertain his condition? I worry about him. He's a good kid. It's not his fault they target him because he has abilities.
Is he also a wolf?
No. He's a variant, I think. He has these amazing abilities.
He's a genetic anomaly?
Yes. I think so, if I understand what that means. I'm not a scientist.
Oh no! If you've seen the variants, that super team, they're made up of genetic anomalies, so it's easy to.
Oh.
That's fine though. I think I understood your meaning.
A lot of people just call them all variants.
Yeah, no, totally. It makes perfect sense. Like all the when the comic books, like all mutants are X-Men, but trademark.
Right. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. It's important to use the right terms that people prefer.
Yeah, I offer her a jar of Nutella and says, sometimes when I'm anxious, this helps.
All right, they take it. Nutella. Thanks. Opens it up, and then it realizes it's been like half eaten, and there's like chimp hairs in there. Sort of diplomatically closes it and hangs onto it for now. How's the other one?
How's my body, by the way? Like, did it get messed up at all?
No, it's still there. Sorry, you can jump in at any time.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I hop back in. I wasn't gonna interrupt anyone.
Yeah, when you kind of sit up, it looks like the enemy tenses up some and sort of calms down some and says, "I'm sorry if I hurt you. I thought you were with Chrysalis."
I'm taken.
that point, you sort of like there's a bit of a thumping sound as the Justicar has actually landed in its dock, its hangar. I should use the right terminology. The hangar at the Justicar HQ. Gravistar, you are notified by the autopilot that you have landed safely. The Justicar is about to initiate refueling operations. And looks like you're home.
I let NB know that we are landed. And I let them know they are more than welcome to stay as long as they like, at least until they feel like they can go safely wherever they want to.
I will ask Anby if she knows what the deal is up with the other chimp.
Oh, yes. I haven't actually had the opportunity to meet with them. I don't know much about them, if they have a name or if they're sapient even. But they certainly look a lot like you. I had worried that it had been you, but then they didn't act like I thought you might, and then you didn't act like I thought you might when you shot me. I did punch your plane, I suppose. Sorry about that.
We all make mistakes, but he's gonna kind of grab the other chimp and probably put her in the lab so he can run tests, make sure it's not an evil doppelganger or something.
Okay, about this time, looks like the boy is starting to become conscious. General Maxon is still totally out. And Pride Star opens his eyes and looks around. Where are we? Are we rescued? And he sits up and looks around. Who else is here? Astro Chimp and...
I don't think I left, so I'm probably still here.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm wanting to make them feel welcome if it does.
Yeah, he sits up and he looks over at Ether, and there's like a moment where he like is not quite sure if he recognizes you, but maybe seems like he does, and then looks over at Optimist and then gives a little bit of a nod and says, "It's the Justicars. The Justicars rescued us."
I look over at Astro Chim and say, "They've heard of us." Smiling, because he always gets a kick out of it.
And NB kind of shrugs. Sure, kid, they seem nice enough. I guess they rescued us. We're in a plane. Don't punch it or anything. He gives NB a look. Why would I punch and then sees the marks in the plane. Oh, you punched the plane? NB shrugs.
It's okay, kid. There's a lot of misunderstanding all around. You didn't happen to know about the chimp in who was with you?
I don't know a lot about them. I guess I thought it was Astro Chimp, but NB said it wasn't. So, but you're Astro Chimp, right? You're the real Astro Chimp?
Of course. Do you see anybody else with this suit?
Is it a brother or maybe sister of yours?
As far as I know, that's what I think. A doppelganger. I need to run tests. Did she appear sentient? Did she talk?
I have not heard her talk. No, as far as I know. And
yeah, I'm gonna grab her and I will take her to the lab.
Yep, so just as you're getting her strapped in or set down or whatever in your laboratory, she begins to come to and looks around. What? Where? Astro Chimp? Is that you?
I mean, and he kind of like looks around like, you know, another one? I mean, like, and it's a serious question. It's like, do you know another one, or how many of you are there?
sort of shakes her head and I am one of many, but I was separated. This isn't Chrysalis anymore, is it?
No, you are in the laboratory of the Justicar Manor. Did we name this thing?
I had heard there was going to be some sort of forming of a group called the Justicars, but I've been unable to check the news for some time. Not that I've kept up for the most part.
We've been a group for like 5 years. How long have they been? Anyway, muttering to myself.
Well, if you don't mind telling me where are you from? I was under the impression I was one of a kind.
Well, you are, of course. Why would you think otherwise? Do you think the humans think of themselves as being part of a blob of things, being unlike one another? No, it should be the same for all of us.
Yes, I understand that, but I meant as in our people, shall I say, are not naturally able to talk and communicate in that way.
Yes, well, you are not the only one who has been elevated. But I don't believe I should be discussing details like that with outsiders. I was separated, though, taken, and I'd like to get back if you don't mind. It's been very nice meeting you, though, and I do appreciate the rescue.
All right. Astro Chimp is a little scared, but he's also a little happy that there's other people like him. But he's also a little scared because there are other chimps.
She sits up and then looks at you and says, "But may I leave? Am I your prisoner?"
And he kind of looks around and he says, "You haven't done anything, as far as I'm aware, that harmed anybody, so you're free to go."
She nods and seems to relax a bit. Says, "That is good. Perhaps I might stay for dinner."
And he kind of, how do you feel about Nutella?
Optimist hears that we might have company and runs to the kitchen to start baking.
I have heard of such a substance, but I have only seen the commercials.
He's gonna grab a fresh jar. It's like, and then he opens it up. Like, it's the humans, they like to put it in bread. I feel like that kind of, it kind of messes up the taste. I just like to scoop it up. Here, and he gives her a spoon.
All right, and we'll cut away as you have your moment to sort of get to know this chimp who doesn't have a name yet, I think. Someone was saying Eartho Chimp, but I'm totally not going with that. I'm sorry. I've drawn a line somewhere, right? I was thinking Terra going along with that, right? But there's like a character in Teen Titans named Terra, and that, I don't know. Doubling up on the names, it's going to happen at some point, right? There's just so many superhero names.
Terra Chimp, though. If you stick Chimp on the end, we're full or home free.
Super Chimp.
All right, we're going to go with Terra. Who cares about it also being the name of other people? Because that happens in life. So
maybe it's not Terra. Maybe it's just Tara.
Yeah, it's Tara. Except for no, when she spells it, it's leet speak. No, that's dumb. Let's not do that. Let's back away from that idea. But let's go
We're,
with Terra.
we're retconning already. In the same comic, retcon.
Yep. Yeah, that's honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do with role-playing games, is to create things as we go and not have everything be defined ahead of time. It's good to have plans and prep, right? To have cool ideas for things and NPCs ready to go, but it's also really neat to just let things, like, see where things go. And that's one of the fun things I like about doing an RPG on Twitch, is we have more people who we're hanging out along with to sort of help guide the flow of things. It's another chaos element, much like the players, though maybe a bit less direct. Anyway, enough pontification from me. Let's move on.
So what's the general up to?
The general is in really, really poor shape. He's showing signs of, like, I guess. What do you have for medical facilities at the Justicars HQ? I don't think we've really talked about them much.
I'm assuming we have some sort of, like, infirmary or something, but we probably should have some sort of medical professional there, because if we're out doing stuff, then we probably end up hurt a lot.
Well, Gravistar does have that lab of his. Are you trained in the medical profession as well, Grav? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Were you guys able to hear him, or is it just on my end?
Oh, can't hear him.
Hear that?
For choppy. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. But we do have an infirmary.
Yes, we have an infirmary.
On the auto dock.
And there's an auto dock system, I guess, there, and you've got General Maxon is hooked up there, and sort of he's basically in your equivalent of an ICU. He's in rough shape, showing potential signs of brain damage. You might want to actually bring in a medical professional to help him out, or if you know of anyone who has any healing powers, that might be a good idea.
We definitely should have somebody. We should hire somebody as a nurse or something, just in case.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Just because, like, we have good scientists and stuff, but that doesn't mean that they're going to know how to deal with medical stuff.
Yeah,
can we just
is trying to work with the system here, and it's the computer system here is pretty nice, and it's got a lot of information, but it's a matter of knowing what to do with that and which information to access. And yep, that's the auto dock we'll have to do for now. But it's definitely the clear message you're getting from the auto dock is this: you definitely need a better medical professional to help General Maxon. Ideally, someone who specializes in neurology. Something's been done to his neural system and probably brain.
Okay, so while the croissants are baking, I'm going to start writing a wanted ad for to put into the Proudhaven News. What is the Proudhaven News called? Proudhaven Planet? No, Planet's too.
Proudhaven Press.
Proudhaven Press. There you go. PHP. Players hand. No, whatever. Okay, so Proudhaven Press, and I'm gonna take out a wanted ad saying that the Justicars are looking for a live-in nurse, because that sounds like something dorky that Optiverse would do.
All right. Yeah, in the short of it here, you've got General Maxon, who's in rough shape. You're calling in for some medical help for him. And you have these two other heroes, Envy and Pride Star, who seem to be, well, they might be heroes, right? I guess I called them that, but they're more like, I guess, captives and victims at this point that have been recently rescued. They seem to be friendly enough and not enemies. They don't seem to immediately want to leave. They're just kind of hanging out to see what happens next. And are accepting croissants and Nutella quite quite amiably. And yeah, it looks like Tara is connecting a bit with Astro Chimp, getting to know him some, and not completely letting her guard down or dropping any secrets about her mysterious origin. But she does seem to be liking the way Astro Chimp is responding to her questions and social interactions and warming up to him a bit. And the Nutella has definitely helped to make a good impression. Astro Chimp, do you have some sort of a social skill you care to roll to see how well things may go with Tara here?
Well,
we're not going to narrow things down to a simple bardic seduction roll here. Don't worry about that. But just in general terms here, I want to know what social skill you're going to be using and how well it goes.
Well, Astro Chimp has been living by himself in a space station for a long time, so he has no social skills at all. He just smiles awkwardly and hands people Nutella. I can just roll a d20, I guess.
I'm going to give you a +2 bonus for being a well-known chimp, I guess.
Oh, I do have the famous advantage. I forgot. Let me tell you what I...
Is there a specific listed bonus for that?
It says so benefit status. It's not listed. Well,
all right, we'll stick to a +2 bonus then for your famous status, and then I guess let's bump that up to a +5 with the addition of the Nutella.
Yes. Still okay. I got a 9. All right.
9 total. Okay. Yeah, the conversation seems to go it's a bit stunted here and there. Like, it seems like she's friendly enough, but definitely doesn't kind of let you in or let her guard down. And she does basically leave within about 15 minutes or so of waking up, assuming she's not restrained.
Yes, she's not restrained at all.
All right, she will... I guess she'll call an Uber.
If she's leaving in front of Chimp, he will offer to, fly her on the Justicars.
Okay, yeah, she will consent to that. I would very much appreciate a ride, yes. There's no holes, just big dents. There's holes in the interior, but no actual hole on the fuselage, the hull itself.
Or I could just carry her using my jetpack.
All right, so you're able to fly her off and drop her off somewhere in the city. Just it's sort of like a dark abandoned warehouse district sort of thing. It seems a bit odd, but she lets you know she can find her way from here. And I think at this point we're going to call our midpoint break.
Sounds good. We will all see you in, what do you say, Cliff, 10 minutes or 5 minutes? Oh my goodness, Cole Sarek! You are the new stream boss, so you have... How long, Cliff? How long to think about it?
Let's do 10.
All right, you have 10 minutes to think about who you want to give that tasty hero point to, or if you want to add a complication. And we'll see everybody in 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
We are back. Thanks for hanging around. We're talking about the chat and how we think it's probably the best chat of any Twitch show because we ask you for cool stuff and you come up with cooler stuff. So we've talked about Cole Ceresque asking, what did I tell you? That Terra, the Alto chimp, being wanted by an interplanetary space force, and Cliff gave his okay.
Yeah, I think that's fun. So yeah, a little bit of time passes. You get some refreshments into Pride Star and NB, who seem amiable enough and friendly enough here. It does seem like NB is a bit guarded and suspicious, though not openly so. It just seems to be more reserved and kind of watching you all closely to see how you're going to react to things. Pride Star just sort of jumps all in. He's just the enthusiastic teenage kid. He's so excited to be here. He lets you know he's got some powers of his own. He would love to show you, but sometimes it damages things unexpectedly, so...
What if we could take him to a part of the headquarters that's already been really damaged?
Well, there's always... Don't you guys have something like a danger room?
I don't know. Gravistar, do we?
We probably do. I'm not Gravistar, but I'm answering.
We always have Gravistar for this because basically we had Bob design the actual rules design of the HQ.
Okay.
I more or less put it up to the team, and he said, "Here you go. How's this?" And I said, "That sounds cool." So,
well, Bob has gone AFCA.
Oh no!
So let's assume that we do have some sort of training room.
It's more of a range, I guess. It's got something of a. Sorry, go ahead, Gravistar. I heard your voice. I thought I heard his voice, but he's been lost to time.
He was trying really hard to break through the barrier.
All right, so yeah, there's a range there and a dojo and some stuff, and you're working on calibrating everything to have an actual proper danger room, but it's not there yet. So you bring him down there to the range, and hey, I heard your voice. Are you back yet? Or is that just a ghostly voice?
Yes.
I think I'm sort of here.
Yes, we can hear you.
We have a combat simulator, whatever that's supposed to represent. So it's sort of a danger room.
So yeah, it's a sort of a danger room. It's not properly calibrated yet for full danger room ops, but
it's more like a mild risk room.
Right. Yeah. So. Pride Star heads on down and sees what's there and says, "All right, and I've been working on this really hard, okay?" And then NB says, "Oh no, kid, you're not going to open with the laser beam, are you?"
Laser beam? How cool!
You told me that. She says, and the Pride Star says, "Shh, shh, shh. I need confidence, right? I can do this."
Oh yeah, do it.
And NB sort of looks a bit tense from and says, all right, kid, I believe in you, right? We've been through all this, and plus, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's
right? I ask that question all the time. That's my favorite question.
Pride Star just sort of nods, says, well, coming from you, that's pretty inspiring. All right, just give me a sec so I can focus. And he holds up both palms and squints his eyes really hard and looks at the target, and there's this bright light that starts to form around his hands, and it starts to get warm, and his hands start to glow a bit, and it starts to smell like something's burning. And then all of a sudden there's a bright beam shoots out, and he just blasts a hole in the target, and then he turns back and says, look, I'm doing it! And then Ambi sort of gives a thumbs up, and there's this bright red light in the room just giving off from this, and he turns and just sort of sweeps the laser beam casually across the casually across the target range and wipes out all of the targets before realizing that he still has the thing on, and then stops abruptly, and his hands are smoking, and he goes, and he's blowing at them, and they're smoking a bit, and I did it! I really did it!
I give him a clap. That was pretty great. That was awesome.
He does a high five, and his hand is like hot enough to where your hand feels a bit hot afterwards, and there's like some sparks that go off like X-Men Jubilee style upon the high five.
Woo! We need to get you some superhero gloves so you can control that a bit better.
Oh, that's a great idea. And he goes, oh yeah, I can do laser beams, and he sort of does this pose. It looks kind of comical because he's this sort of wimpy looking teenage boy, but when he does it, he sort of glows a bit, and there's this sort of light bending, prismatic, rainbowish look to this aura that comes up around him, and it just gives off this light that feels pleasant, but you'll all discover that you have a bit of a sunburn afterwards. Somewhat later. For those of you who are susceptible to it, that is. And then he sort of brings down the pose and says, yeah, so you think I have what it takes then?
You certainly have the potential. You've got some sweet powers.
NB's just shaking their head a bit. Hey, this is real nice and all, but
So yeah, I use the Justicars and I say, Astrochimp, did you see what this kid did? You gotta make him some gauntlets so he can control this stuff.
Gonna make him some gauntlets so he doesn't burn down the manor. And then I'm gonna, so you hear like buzzing and mechanical sounds in the background.
And then I went back to them and I say, yeah, he's really excited to help work on it.
And NB's just said it's sort of turning to I guess either who's there, and just they shouldn't be encouraging him, right? That's just not the sort of thing that a 15-year-old kid needs to, look for excuses to find a use for.
Well, I don't mean to tell you how you're anybody's business, but what I've found working with kids is that if you give them meaningful choices and a chance to stretch out their legs, then they won't look for places to do it in destructive ways. It's important to foster their own agency as they grow so that they don't go crazy when all of a sudden they have too much of it.
And NB says, gee, thanks, Optimus, but I was asking her opinion.
Oh, sorry. I didn't catch that part. I like to hear myself talk.
You start like talking, and Optimus floats over and jumps into the conversation. It's really useful advice, but
I was opti-splaining.
Right.
I'll float away.
A little bit of that chagrined, like, I don't know, like squiggle thing over his head.
Right. Like, ah.
Yeah, either will just kind of feel like, well, like, he's right.
NB sort of chuckles. Yeah, I know he meant well, but,
I didn't start this stuff when I was, I mean, I'm not that old either, so.
It's gonna get him hurt or captured again. Like me, I think I'm gonna move on and lay low. This has just creeped me out. How am I supposed to make a living and not get captured or hunted or something? This is ridiculous. There goes another job, an apartment, life.
We need to start our own witness protection program for this kind of thing.
Oh, you've got something like that?
Not 100%, but I'm sure we could probably start something.
I've been wandering from one town to another, one job from another, building a life, having to move along when it gets taken away for one reason or another. I'm sick of it. I'm ready to start making a difference. If you want to start something like that up and you need someone to take care of things, well, I'm unemployed. Please hire me.
Are you a doctor by any chance?
No.
Well, I
I'm
guess
a werewolf.
I guess that's the other side of things. Then would probably be something I can talk to the team about, and we can figure out where to, if possible, to stick you in that, because I know there's other people that are probably in a similar situation, you know.
And they say, yeah. And by the way, when I say the werewolf, the good kind, I think. And then their eyes seem to smolder like glowing coals for a moment. They seem unaware of it.
She'll just kind of scoot away a little bit, not like super noticeably, but you know.
They sort of widen their smile a bit as if to attempt to make it more friendly. It does not have the desired effect. Alright, so with that, you've got some time that passes. What are you doing with Pride Star and NB? It seems like they're kind of waiting to you to see what they should do next.
I'm going to bring that idea actually up to the team with the time that passes.
Can we have a meeting, just us, out of earshot?
Yep, we can let days pass at this point, so we can cut to like later that night or some other day or some vague time in between. So, floop, turn the page. It's somewhere else, some other time.
So I let the team know that it probably wasn't it probably wasn't my place, but I put out a wanted ad for a nurse, a full-time nurse. I don't know how we're gonna pay for it. It occurs to me that when you're in the Justicars, money just shows up when you need it. But there it is.
I guess if anybody responds, then we worry about how to pay them.
I don't even know how we're going to pay for the damage to this place. But like I said, I think it'll work itself out.
Astrogym's probably been fixing it on the down low for free.
But like with what?
Don't worry about it.
Just don't ask.
Okay, so Optimist, you get a actually, as you're talking about this, you get a bloop email response. Are you serious about hiring a nurse? What are the terms?
Hey, listen, guys. I know we need to talk about what we do with NB and Pride Star, but somebody just responded to the ad. Hold on. So I text you. Yeah, totally serious. What are your qualifications?
I haven't been admitted to any accredited universities, but I'm skilled at things. A big long list of like all sorts of different sciences. A lot of them seem like they're biological or medical related. Do you have any skills to ascertain what the heck this is saying?
No, but I throw the text. I use the Justicom to put it on the big screen so everybody can see it.
Any of you with science skills, Astrogym and Gravistar, I imagine, can take a look. And yeah, that's an impressive list of skills, many of them medical related, but a lot of them related to technology, even cybernetics and nanotechnology. Like this person, like if their resume is correct, they read more like someone a superhero team or supervillain team might hire as their queue, so to speak.
So, guys, how would they know all this if they've never been to college?
So, Gravistar, I guess, what would you say after reading this information? How do you communicate that to the team?
Well, it's quite the impressive resume. If there's no formal education behind that, we dealing with some type of savant or maybe even a metahuman or an anomaly.
Or a teenager that's really good at the internet.
Oh, I have all my knowledge ingrained into my genetic code.
What? Never mind. Yeah, the kid with the internet probably is more likely. And that's a really smart idea. But what if it is a kid and they just need a job and they're really enterprising? We should maybe give them a shot. I mean, not to be the nurse, but
Though it could be somebody that's not a kid that just needs a shot. It could be somebody just trying to infiltrate. So we do have to be careful.
Oh,
I guess.
Dang it! I didn't think about that. That's a good thought.
I point at my mind reading helmet. I'm sure we can do some security stuff, like background checks and other stuff.
I'm not sure how I feel about you just reading people's minds like that. It doesn't seem kosher.
I'll ask for permission.
What did you say?
I'll ask for permission.
Oh. You don't mind if I read your mind, do you?
All right, so the person who shows up for the interview, as we cut to another page flip here, turns out to be someone you've met before. It is a T-Rex by the name of Sue, who has these like sort of like vest thing on. It doesn't have a big dorsal cannon on it. It's got a couple of little kind of tentacle-looking things with like appendages, like little digits. That can manipulate and move things with, and yeah, the two little joysticks. And for those of you who haven't seen this character before, it's essentially a T-Rex, not quite the full height of a full T-Rex, kind of somewhat humanoid, but halfway between. If you were to like morph a T-Rex form in between T-Rex and full humanoid form and like stop halfway between, like this is kind of what you get. And yes, she's got small hands that are controlling these little joysticks that are on her chest, and has this harness or frame that has the appendages that help her do what she needs to do. Last time she met the team, she was attacking them and had a big old cannon mounted on the back that launched this weird goopy tentacle stuff. She did interview for the position in May, but it was interrupted when Chaos Lord showed up and evac'd her. So yeah, she shows up.
You guys,
Looking, trying to look like almost a bit sheepish. You know, it's hard for a T-Rex to look non-threatening. They have to really oversell it.
you guys, it's that T-Rex that I think it's the same one that attacked us.
I heard you were hiring. And when she talks, it's coming out of a speaker, like an intercom system. Like she's not actually able to form words with her physical mouth.
Remember, I gave her food and she manipulated us while her friends attacked us.
Yeah.
Listen, that maid position, you know, not really my job. I mean, not really my best expertise, though I could probably design an upgraded Roomba or something for you. But I would make a good medic and maybe quartermaster. I have to say, I've mostly done legitimate mercenary work, and my stint with Chrysalis just well, let's just say it's not a career path I'd like to pursue any further. And I've thought long and hard about the conversation we had before that nitwit. Well, useful nitwit, I suppose, showed up and gave me a way to step out of the situation. So, I'd like to have a chance to make up for perhaps the damage that I did, or any part that I played in Monarch and his games. And maybe I could help out a bit around here. I understand if you wouldn't want to trust me, but maybe we can work out a probationary arrangement.
Chimp sold.
And I suppose if you'd like to see to it that I answer for my crimes and do time for them, well, I'd like to say and point out that your government doesn't point out anomalies such as myself, or doesn't treat anomalies such as myself with any sort of proper dignity or due process.
You're an anomaly?
I will, well, I'm not sure what you would call me, but have you ever seen something like me before?
Well, I mean, like, no, were your parents also T-Rexes?
I am a creation.
Oh. Well,
and I have been working hard to fulfill my free will as best I can, and that has led to mistakes. If you must choose or if you choose that justice must be done and I must pay for these crimes in some way that I would rather not, I will accede to that. However, I must argue, and as she gestures with her like little T-Rex hands, she's sort of gesturing more with like the joysticks, and her like robot hands are doing more of the movement. It's almost it's apparently like subconscious to her by now. However, I must say that to do so would be a grave waste of scientific and medical resources. I am, by human terms, an extreme genius.
Do we need 3 on the team? Have you killed anybody?
I dare say that. What?
Have you ever killed anybody?
That's a sensitive question. In legal terms, I don't believe I have ever committed murder.
That was more or less what I was asking, but now you've opened the door for curious minds to want to know more.
I am a predator, sir. I have certainly...
Like humans.
Killed.
Intelligent creatures.
Sue sort of shrugs. There were probably some killed in some of the explosions.
Ah, jeez.
We all kill things in the
I can't. Okay, so my complication is optimistic to a fault. So like, I have to end up trusting her here, but like, she's making it very difficult for me to also not do good, because if she has done something like that requires justice, like that also has to play into it. So I'm like, I'm vacillating.
This was a war zone. Soldiers of your nation were involved on the side that I was working on behalf of, so to speak.
Well, I say we, gosh darn it, I say we give her a chance. Ah!
Well, if we can come up with a proper community service and house arrest terms, I'm willing to give it a probationary shot.
I don't trust her because I know kind of how the other side works, but I'm willing to give her a chance. 1.
I must say, you should really consider raising some significant magical defenses. As it is, I believe Chaos Lord can step in and out fairly easily, and has been doing so on a regular basis.
Oh.
You can have that information for free.
I heard about this sea hag. Anyway. Well, let me ask you this. And be very careful what you say. Did you like the cookies that I baked for you?
They were the best cookies ever.
I believe her, and I think she's going to be great.
Yeah, Shimp is already making a super suit with her with the T-Rex on it.
You can't just make super suits for everybody. You don't have time to make super suits for everybody on the planet.
I have the time. That's literally one of my powers.
He goes off camera for like 5 seconds, comes back with a super suit for everybody.
Yeah, Chimp's very like interested in this T-Rex and her abilities, so he's gonna be like, yes, he's gonna be the first one to put his hands down and be like, yes, get her in. We need her on our side, right? Like right now.
Okay, Gravistar, what do you think?
Like I said, I'm cautiously a yes, I believe.
See, and now you know why we're a superhero team, because everybody is like, sure, let's hire the murderous T-Rex. We'll give her a second chance, because we're the heroes. That's what heroes do. And then the next episode, we're all dead in our sleep because a T-Rex just said they wanted a job, and we were all, yeah, sure.
All right, well, some time passes, and Sue gets settled into her job as the sort of med tech of the Justicars base. And seems to be doing a fairly good job of it. General Maxon eventually recovers consciousness, but has no memory of anything beyond being at his. Well, so it sort of cuts to him at his bed. It says, I woke up. I had my morning coffee. I did my run. I read the paper and goes into some details, and then after that, I just nothing. And it seemed to be at his home that he was just going through his morning routine, and he doesn't know what happened. The date you get, since you remember the paper, was 3 days before the opening of the Justicars HQ in Proudhaven.
Well, I sit him down and explain to him everything that's gone on and how he was trapped, and ask him if he knows anything about those who were trapped with him or his captors, etc., etc.
He just shakes his head. I don't have any memory of that. I'm very sorry. I've been told that the event did not go so well, but you made the best of things. Good work, soldier. I'm proud of you.
He say that to who?
To Optimist, or whoever happens to be there, right? Who's of the Justicars. There may be some others hanging around as well at the point, but he seems just kind of a shell of his former self at this point, just kind of weak and just recovering from this ordeal. It's obviously taken a lot out of him, and he seems like he's 10 years older than he was before, and he seemed kind of old before.
Normally I would bristle at being called a soldier, but I think he meant it kindly, and I want to be encouraging to him. So I'm gonna hug him, I guess. God, Optimus does weird stuff because it's just, it's like
there's a little thought bubble coming up from him as he's being hugged that has like a ... and a question mark. But he goes with it. He's feeling pretty weak, and he's not really a hugger, I guess. But this was your chance, and you took it. There you go. So you hugged General Maxon, who did not blow up this time. Or last time, for that matter, because you melted him with your Optimus blasts. All right, I guess. With that, General Maxon has been. He makes essentially a full recovery, but he's not quite what he once was, and will announce his retirement soon after. And with that, there are a number of different incidents throughout the city. The Justicars show up for and take out, some enemies here and there. There's a few different panels of Astro Chimp, blasting this energy cage that takes out some bank robbers in ski masks, and another shot that shows Core showing up as a big old. Oversized King Kong-like Astro Chimp and scooping up a car that was stolen and dumping the car thieves out of the convertible in front of the cops. Another shot of Optimus showing up and some sparkly blasts, getting some gang members to sort of drop their guns, and before long it's helping. The next panel is Optimus standing in the background with this sort of a proud smile, and the gang members are helping carry boxes in from a van to a soup kitchen. What's your panel of you getting some good done in the city, I guess? Or maybe back at the HQ, whatever you want.
I'd assume I'm gonna help Gravistar do some rebuilding, in case he needs it.
I could always use your help rebuilding.
Alright, so Gravistar and Ether are working on some rebuilding stuff. What are you focusing on?
We've made a lot of messes in our home, so we need to fix the issues in our ship, and we need to fix the issues in our from all those fights and stuff. I know there was some pickup that happened, but I don't think we mended any walls or anything like that.
The basic HQ has been more or less restored. Like the walls that were damaged and the damage to the great room and entryway. That's all been fixed up. However, the Justicars still has some dents in it and the brig area is pretty well wrecked from NB's frenzy.
Yeah, we can do that, and then we can also kind of, if we've for sure decided to have Sue on board, then we can kind of set up an area for her and an area for her to work. But yeah, that'll be kind of my priority.
She seems calm and friendly enough and does a pretty good job of tending to General Maxon. He was weirded out at first, but her general professionalism and calm and soothing bedside manner seemed to get through to him pretty quickly. All right, Gravistar, what were you saying?
As I said, we also got some citywide damage from where the kaiju came through that I think needs some repairing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ongoing repairs of buildings in the city. Some were knocked down entirely, but there wasn't too much damage because you showed up with core and put the smackdown on that kaiju pretty damn fast. Pretty darn fast, I should say. Because comic books.
But yeah, that's one of the things I'm particularly good at is clearing away a lot of that rubble and debris and making that, what little cleanup there and repair there is go faster.
Okay, so there's some shots of sort of Ether helping Sue settle in, doing some work with Gravistar in the lab, but also Gravistar sort of floating around and moving debris around, or raising something here and there to help some construction crews get the job done. There's actually a shot of a union boss walking up, and he's upset that something that should have been done by a crane operator was done by a superhero instead. But you don't have to stick around to sort out the paperwork.
Putting people out of jobs.
Whatever the case, there's still plenty of work for the crane operators, so they shouldn't be too put out, I imagine. So yeah, the rebuilding seems to go fairly well, and some time passes. Overall, there are a few outbursts of crime here and there, but you more or less keep them in check. Chrysalis seems to be keeping its head down after or maybe it's reeling from the major blows that you dealt it by not letting it get busloads is what I meant to say. Buttloads would be appropriate, I suppose, as well. But busloads is the more appropriate term for the situation. Busloads of captives from the concert, and they didn't get to kill you all and take over your HQ. And you foiled most of the would-be supervillains that popped up as the result of the Monarch's call for villains to show up and impress him.
Did we ever figure out what happened to the guy that was impersonating Gravistar? Did he leave? Or not impersonating, but the one that was similar to him?
I don't recall exactly what happened. I think he made good his escape. Though I must admit that that's part of the recap thing that I was hoping someone would fill in for me that no one did.
This is fun, I can't remember.
Now I'm caught in my evasion as a GM and going, oh no, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I took poor notes and I GM'd too many campaigns. I'm awful. So, Does anybody remember? I guess I'll lay it out there.
Chat, do you remember what happened to Graviclone? Or Twin Star? Or whatever he was. In the meantime, I think I will get Astro Chimp and Gravistar together and ask them a favor. If he can peel himself away from making damn super suits for everybody and their mom. What do you think the chances are that we could help Aether find her original body?
After Jim says, why find her original body? I could simply make her a robotic one.
Well, would you want, if you got trapped outside of your own body, would you want to have a human body that wasn't your own, or would you want your own body? Humans like their own bodies. That's why. It doesn't matter why.
He kind of scratches his chin like, why would you not want a robotic body? And then he says, well, I suppose if she wants her body back, given that I'm sure we can figure out some trace her energy back to her body and see if we can find it.
I just don't want to give her hope that's not earned. But if there's a chance, I think we absolutely have to follow it.
It's like, yeah, and he looks at Gravistar. What do you think? Perhaps we can get Sue on this. She has skills that we lack. And I've been talking to her. She's quite the intelligent reptilian dinosaur woman.
Well, I'm still leery of how much we want to trust Sue with doing exactly, but I'm all for trying to find Aether's body. I think that's a good goal to be having there. I'm just not sure where to start.
Perhaps Aether remembers something. Also, I can, and he opens like a catalog of various like cool robots. Also, we can offer her this, see if she likes anything in here. We can just put her in one of these bodies.
As you're discussing this, who's actually in the, like, I imagine your superhero HQ has a control room that has like computers and maybe a comfy place to sit down and look at them, and it has monitors that display like what's going on around the city, and police scanners are set up and stuff like that. So who's in your control room and what does it look like?
I imagine that if somebody was in the control room, if it was one of us three, then we would have the meeting in there. But if Aether was on patrol duty, then it would be only her.
You're all in the control room then. Good move. So you're all in the control room when there's a little some sort of alert that the system's computer is alerting. It's designed and programmed to scan through a whole bunch of different things and let you know if there are different hotspots, and it's letting you know about one right now. And the code that it's giving off is there's some sort of hostile attack in progress. Civilians in immediate danger. So you look over and pull up the spot, and let's see here. Who am I going to put on the spot? Chat, let's have you give me one of the players that I'm going to put on the spot to come up with the location in Proudhaven that we haven't seen before that is under hostile attack. So it takes a moment for that to catch up, but as it's going on, that gives each of you players time to think about what you might say if you're picked. So as far as the chat goes, I'm just going to pick the most prominent thing that comes up in a few. Okay, Whitney came out 2 times in a row. It's you. Aether should do it. Ooh, 3. Yay. Okay. So yeah, Whitney, you're on the spot. You get to pick what location in Proudhaven is under hostile attack, where civilians are in danger, and it has to be a place we haven't seen before in the city of Proudhaven.
All right, going with the main shopping center.
Okay, yeah, it's a big fancy mall. There's a huge food court, lots and lots of parking, and huge department stores on the ends of all these different wings, and tons of smaller stores along the walkways, multiple different levels, special arcade that it has like all the hottest tech, VR stuff and everything. But it's just one of the cool places to be in town. And it's currently not a cool place to be because it's under attack. And as you show up, it appears that there is, in fact, some sort of spaceship-looking thing. It's kind of a vaguely Romulan bird of prey shape, but a little bit more rounded. And it's shooting at these different beams down that are just blasting at different stuff in the mall. It doesn't look like there's any bodies laying around. People are running and hiding. It doesn't seem like they're just opening fire directly on the people that are fleeing in terror. But there is some sort of a broadcast over the speakers, but the language doesn't sound like anything any of you have ever heard before. So I guess let's go with an initiative roll. And everyone just call off what your initiative is.
27.
20.
8.
11.
Okay, Astro Jump, you're first.
All right, I am going to fly right up, and I'm going to try to see if there are like any window-like structures around that space ship that I can look into.
Okay, you go flying up and give me a technology roll as you take a look at it and try to ascertain its form and purpose.
36.
Okay, with the 36, yeah, this is definitely... It's got some sort of a secondary propulsion system for in space. Probably an ion drive, but right now it's operating on some sort of unknown anti-gravity technology based on its current position, maybe a repulsor lift, somewhat like a theoretical Star Wars technology. But judging by the size and shape, if the beings are roughly the size of humans or metahumans, it's a fairly small craft, maybe 2 to 4 beings tops, unless they're really, really small. The rest of it seems to be devoted to its systems. This ship is designed for speed, and judging by some of the refractions and some of the readings you're getting, it has a shield system as well. This is pretty advanced technology, and you are almost absolutely certain that it is alien tech.
All right, I am going to call everybody on the Justiphone, and I'll say, Optimist, you might be surprised to hear this, but this is my first time seeing an alien spaceship, and this one is pretty cutting edge. I'm not sure we can take it down without a lot of damage to the city. What's the plan, boss?
Well, I've only really interacted with one alien before, and that was a very long time ago, and it was only one single alien, so I don't have much more experience. But if this is first contact, then maybe we should be nice and extend the right hand of fellowship to these potentially misunderstood beings.
Oh, and I forgot to ask, how are you approaching then, Astro Chimp? Have you landed the Justicar nearby, or are you showing up on your jetpack?
I'm showing up on the jetpack, but I'm trying to not sneak up on them or not try to be hostile. I'm trying to just observe them from a distance.
I'm assuming the rest of us are in the Justicar.
Whoever needs that to get around, sure. Ether, how are you getting there, and how are you showing up, and what are you doing? Because we're on your turn.
All right. Yeah. So if we took the jet, then that's how I got there. Otherwise, then I would have taken some sort of ground transpo from from somebody.
So I can always
It's up
provide
to
a
you.
for a direct flight.
Okay, then I'll take a flight from Gravistar.
Okay.
But yeah, I did take my body. And when we get there, I'm going to still stay in it for a little while. So I've got. I'm just kind of trying to see what's going on before I ditch that and everything.
Yeah, the scene that you see is one of chaos and terror as there's some sort of big old spaceship that showed up. Looks like a UFO of some kind out of Star Trek Wars, and it's blasting the crap out of the food court. The readings that you're getting and the reports that you're getting in don't seem to report any actual casualties as far as lives lost, though the damages to the mall are the dollar signs are getting bigger. They seem to be firing. I mean, as you're looking at things, I guess. Is there an insight skill? I'm sorry. I think there's something like that in here, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Yeah, insight. Yeah.
Yeah, give me an insight roll. I'm thinking of the right one.
20.
The 20. Okay. Yeah, you get the sense that they're trying to like shock and awe. They're not actually with the weaponry that they have and the damage they're doing. They could be wasting lives left and right. But they're actually not firing on people or even load-bearing structures. They're shooting things that will fall apart in big and flashy ways. They're showing up to make a big impression, not apparently with the initial primary objective of killing as many people as they can or destroying them all. So that's your impression. You pretty much have most of an action to do something if you want to. Observing. We'll call that a move action to sort of take things in. As
Did
you
you
look
say-
down
I'm
and
sorry.
see, the Arby's is just like one of the Arby's employees leaps out of the way as there's an explosion behind him, and it's just completely wasted. Roast beef flying one direction, turkey cold slices flying another. A baguette lands in front of you, just crisp, burned to a crisp, beyond any recognition. That will never be a sandwich, ever.
This sisterly upsets her. She likes Arby's. No. So are the blasts and stuff, do they seem to be coming from what I can see? Do they seem to be coming from the ship, or do they seem to be coming from...
There's
Okay.
this spaceship thing floating right above the mall, blasting away at the food court.
Right. I didn't know
Sorry,
if she
I'm
saw
not sure if I
anything
made that
coming.
clear.
No, it's okay. I just didn't know if there was something inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
total alien attack on the mall.
Okay, so she's gonna look at Gravistar, who was her source of transportation at this point in time, and we need to get up there. We can't really fight it from down here.
All right, so Gravistar, on your turn, you're looking down at this scene in horror as there's some sort of weird rocket launch thing that flies down and gives a flash, and then the Sparrow is gone. There's a couple of huddling employees left unhurt in this small sphere-shaped annihilated wreckage of what was once the Sparrow. What do you do?
Alrighty. Move into the engagement zone. Ether, where do you want dropped off at? Because once I get engaged, I'm not going to be able to carry you around.
We're probably gonna be needing to go up. We can't fight it from down on the ground. Well, I can't anyway. If you're going up into the ship or towards, I guess I don't know if we can go in the ship, but up to the ship, then we should go up there.
Alrighty. Let's engage the ship directly then.
All right, so you go flying up to the ship, and what do you do?
I don't suppose there's like cockpit windows we can see through or anything like that, is there?
You don't see any obvious windows. If so, they're tinted. I mean, it does look like there are some features that might be windows, but you can't see through them.
Yeah, figured as much.
Anything designed for space travel is definitely designed to prevent, penetration of different wavelengths of light. All right, so we come to Opti. How are you showing up?
I'm going to be flying directly there, and I suppose I would interpose myself between the spaceship and their targets.
Oh wait, sorry, I shouldn't move too far ahead. Bob, if you were having technical difficulties, you were flying up and are asking what was happening, there was sort of long pauses and stuff. Feel free to jump in at any time with what you want to do, other than fly up in front of the ship.
No, at this point, I just need to drop Ether off, drop her on the ship, and then, I was going to put myself between the ship and the mall.
Okay. So you got yourself between the ship and the mall, and Ether sort of landed plop down on the ship itself on sort of one of the wings just near the center piece that seems like the bulk of the ship. And I'm sorry, Chad, or Opti, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if Gravistar's there right in front, flying, I imagine, right, Bob?
Yes.
Then I would just kind of go back just very close to him, or if there's double attacks, like I don't just try to intercept, but also sort of like waving my hands, like trying to get their attention, like hello, like please stop the destruction. We'd like to chat with you.
Right, do you have any sort of diplomacy type skill?
I have persuasion. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll that. But we're gonna call it like a -5 because you have no idea of the language. You're just trying to do the best you can to let them know that you want to get their attention and you're not hostile and they should stop shooting at the mall, for Christ's sake.
That's it's not a very encouraging roll. It's an 11.
All right, so you're flying up and giving off some optimistic sparkles and whatnot. You're not quite sure if it's having any effect. And then we come around to Astrochimp.
Astrochimp realizes that the problem is we can't communicate, so he's gonna quickly make up a universal translator sort of deal, and he can do it. It's only rank 4, so you should be able to do it very within that one round.
Okay, so you'll start time bubbling, super quick, whipping up this fancy doohickey.
Yep, and with my move action, I put it on. It's like a watch. I put it on Optimus, and he's like, "All right, this should let you talk to them. Try not to make us look uncivilized."
All right, as soon as it's put on the Optimus, you start hearing the strange, unrecognizable sounds as like a string of numbers. And then the voice continues on.
They're math teachers.
Stand down immediately. We require all assistance in apprehending the fugitive subject. And then it gives off a big long alphanumeric code that takes it like 15 seconds to get through. So moving on in the combat turn. Let's see, who were we just on? That was Astrochimp. So next is Ether. You are now standing on top of this spaceship thing.
Okay, so am I able to actually move around from up there, or is it moving too much that I can't?
No, you can move around. It's mostly hovering at this point.
Okay, I'm going to search for like some sort of way to get in. Can I see anything like that from here? Do you need me to roll perception?
Yeah, perception would be good. Something like technology would be even better. Or any other skill that you might have that you think would relate to understanding an alien spacecraft.
Technology gave me 21.
All right, with the 21, you do find a hatch. It appears to be like locked in some way, so you'll have to open it. You have to figure out how to open it if you want to get in. But you do find it with your move action. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to try to unlock it if I can figure that out. I don't know what I need to roll for.
I guess it'll be a technology roll as you start fiddling with it. And
12.
With a 12. Yeah, with a 12, you have no idea what to do. I need to step away for just a moment. I'll be right back.
I've heard that Arby's curly fries are so addictive they're considered an outlawed substance in most of the galaxy.
It's probably true.
It's probably just with the cheese sauce, though.
Maybe all the aliens are lactose intolerant.
They are. They're lactose intolerant, but also strangely addicted to cheese sauce.
I can relate.
I feel like that's also the human race. We've just adapted. It's not a problem. We all just accepted it.
We just intolerated our way to tolerance.
Our evolutionary path has gone in a very weird direction where we just embrace the things that hurt us. And in so doing,
Like
we become the worst versions of ourselves. That's why the aliens come here to our planet to indulge in self-destructive behaviors and addictions that they can't get other places.
All right, Ether, I think that finishes your turn. As you attempt to unsuccessfully open the hatch to the alien spacecraft. And we now get to their turn. The turrets cease firing and they kind of move forward, and some of them even retract back into the craft. It seems like they're standing down, backed up some, and they make some noises. And Optimist, you're able to understand the speech that comes out, but nobody else can. It says, it just breaks off in mid-trailing of its, what sounds like almost a bureaucratic recitation of something official, right? It changes to, this is Captain Glarnux.
Captain, this is...
hold on. Sorry, I have to come up with names here. Somebody said yellow something or other for the name of things. What was that? I want to use that if I can.
Yellow lamp, I think is what he said.
I will alter that somewhat to make it sound more interesting. Captain Glarthrux of Yellow Lance Security and Bounty Hunting Forces and Services. What interest does a Universal Guardian have in the protection of this simian subject?
Am I a Universal Guardian? Is that what you mean?
That's the extent of the message. So at that point, I guess we're out of initiative. That we can, if someone wants to jump in and do things in a certain order, we can go back to it if we want to. But next would be Gravistar and then Opti. So Gravistar, you don't understand what they're saying, but it seems like they've stopped for now.
Yeah, I'd just hold my action for be ready for any type of defense, and since Optimus is in communication with him, kind of just have his back and let him do his thing.
All right, Optimist, you understand what they're saying at least. They probably have some sensors that can pick up audio, so hopefully whatever doohickey Astro Chimp worked out works both ways. Does it, Astro Chimp?
Yes, it does, and he can also read their language.
Sweet. You can see markings in the ship. They you don't recognize them, but they make sense to you. They're alphanumeric designations.
So since Optimus doesn't quite understand how the device works, and he saw a bunch of numbers at first and heard a bunch of numbers at first, he thinks that they're just really into math. And so he's going to say, I perceive that you are highly mathematical people. We desire the square root of peace with you. How can we help you track down your fugitive? Because we would like you to stop destroying our unhealthy places of eating. And hopes that all just comes across like intended. But it gets done and just shakes his head like, I don't think that was... Gosh, what's
I
wrong
don't
with
think
you?
I'm even gonna call for a dice roll for that. Okay, so inside there's a shot of like the two aliens looking at each other, and they're kind of weird looking, right? In a way that I'll leave to your imagination for now. And one of them turns to this is, I think our translator is malfunctioning. I'm not understanding what they're saying. They're not making much sense. And the other one says, I think they're trying to be helpful, but their language is too primitive, even for our processors. It's like coming through out of like the box, and it's apparently doing like a perfect translation of what Optimist is saying.
They're actually getting every word, but it just sounds bizarre. Optimus shakes his head. He knows that sometimes he does this stuff and he doesn't know why. He just shakes his head at himself and kind of looks back at everybody
so
and
the
just shrugs like...
we have difficulty understanding your message. Perhaps we have vastly different cultural contexts. However, we do not wish to destroy your places of unhealth. We seek the fugitive. And there's a image that pops up that looks like, at first you think it's Astro Chimp without his suit on, but then you realize it's actually, no, that's that other chimp that you saw before. We seek this fugitive. Known as Terra.
Oh. For the briefest moment, I look back at Astro Chimp like, what did you do? And then, never
She
mind.
was last, scans report she was last in this location. However, the actual resolution and accuracy of our scans does only narrow things down to, I suppose, the overall urban location here, whatever it might be called. And you think you get the gist of, like, he meant, like they thought she was here, but they know, like, from their scans, she's somewhere in the city, not, like, at the mall.
He has an affinity for curly fries.
Can I scold them for shooting places up? Like, what? They could have just asked.
You can, if you like. You can say this is a role-playing game, so.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use my persuasion to scold them. You know, like if you're, if you are people who value law and order, and if you're tracking down a fugitive, it is against our laws to just do property damage without knowing all the facts or without asking for you. You have to use your feeling words before you start raging at people. Your species seems very unemotionally evolved. That was so harsh. I shouldn't have said that. I turn around to everybody and go, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm saying.
So you hear back, more or less it's a long explanation, but the gist of it is that this planet is not covered under whatever legal jurisdiction restricts their actions, and they may operate here with whatever impunity they see in the pursuit of their quarry. Like, basically, they're saying that they don't recognize the authority of this planet to say don't shoot our people or whatever. However, they do follow up with we do not seek to do additional collateral damage. If we have full cooperation in apprehending the fugitive, there will, of course, be no further damage to the population or its places of unhealth.
I think while you guys are talking to them, I don't know if I would have even known that you guys would have started contact. I was still trying to break into the hatch.
Yes.
And then there's a slightly different voice that says, however, I am somewhat confused. Are you attempting to apprehend us as authorities of the law or hire us? And, okay, we'll get back to, I'm sorry, yeah, Ether, you've been still attempting to work your way into this place, working on the hatch. I guess you could make some more rolls. We'll say up to 5 more rolls if you want for technology, or you've got the time to pause and take 10 if you'd rather do that. I'm going to say it's a difficulty 25 to get into this thing. So if you can't hit a 25 with a 10, you're going to have to take your chances.
So you said I'm taking 5 more rolls, or what was that?
Or if you can do it on a take 10 with the 25, you can do that.
Okay.
I think that would mean you'd have to have a plus 15 bonus in the skill. Yeah, I guess it's really easy math. I don't know why I had to think about that.
Yeah. Highest I got was 22, so.
All right, so you're working at this thing, but you just can't figure out like where to pop open the thing, to bypass the lock, to overload the doohickey, or even like some of your last attempts involved like I don't know what you have for tools, but something that would be like a cutter or a more brute force type tool. That's not working either. You have not having any luck getting this hatch open by the end of the conversation as it's occurred so far. Would anyone else like to be up to something besides Opti or Ether? I guess more specifically, would Gravistar or Astrochimp like to be doing something during this time?
Yeah, Astrochimp doesn't like the idea of aliens coming to his planet and firing at it. So he's gonna, while he wants to resolve things in a diplomatic manner, he's gonna take a good analytical look on this ship and try to figure out any weakness in case things come down. This turns into like a shooting, war or something, fight battle.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I'm gonna look around. I think this might be either a perception or a technology test, and I'm looking for weak points on their shield that they have around their spaceship, or any way I can disable it.
Do you have any sort of advantage that would apply to this?
Yeah, I have analytical vision and ultra hearing, and I can also comprehend machines. So simply, I can communicate with machines.
Okay, this machine is generally not trying to communicate with anyone outside. It's encrypted and has access restricted, that sort of thing. But give me never mind. I was going to say a perception or technology roll, whichever's better, but I might as well just say technology roll, right?
All right.
Because I think that one's way better.
Yeah, 43 for me.
With a 43, you're taking a look at this thing and like, oh, they did this and that. That's an interesting design choice. And I wonder if you're getting some insight on maybe like some of the engineering difficulties that they faced from their home planet. You're thinking that they might have evolved on a moon of a gas giant based on whatever technobabble gobbledygook supports that. And you're also fairly certain that the hatch that Ether is trying to work on is actually like a waste output hatch. It doesn't have like a regular opening because it's not something they want to open like as a person from the outside. So you can probably direct her to one that she might have an easier time getting through a few meters away. Other than that, it looks like it's got some guns that are more or less plasma-based weaponry, some sort of a self-sustaining energy system, probably fusion-based, etc. A bunch of technobabble that's not important. However, is there anything in particular you want to know about it? It does have a shield, I should say, which is ultimately like giving it higher grades of protection than it normally would have otherwise. But that's not the be-all and end-all of its defenses.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in if I can see if I can, what would be the most easiest way to take down that shield. Like, is there like a shield generator on the ship that I can see, or anything like that?
You can suspect that there are a number of different spots here and there that are involved in emitting some sort of a field that might be the shield. However, as far as taking it out, it's probably just a matter of applying lots of force at once to the right spot. And you've got some good ideas of systems you might want to hit. You think you might know where if you target it right, it might disable the shield system. However, it would take some sort of extra effort or a hero point or something to pull that off. But I think that's enough for what you're able to stand around and look at for this round and analyze. We'll move on to... Let's see, you were on 27, so Ether is next.
Okay, so am I getting directed to the other door or no? I still don't know.
We were kind of out of initiative before, but he sort of jumped in and was able to analyze things and direct you to.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Open that hatch. You don't want to go in whatever comes out of there. So you're directed to another one. It'll give you a fresh roll for that. So give me another technology check on this. Along with, we'll say, I guess, Astrochimp, do you have any sort of special teamwork advantages?
Well, I did make a special suit for Ether. I will just remind her, hey, remember that suit I made for you? Probably a good time to use it, if you can.
All right, so just make your technology roll with a +2, more than normal.
Okay. I got an 8.
Alright, so just make your technology roll with a +2. You don't even spot the hatch itself because it doesn't look like a hatch to you. You're looking at something else entirely that's like 3 feet to the right.
I don't see what you're talking about.
Astrodim shrugs and he kind of sighs, and he takes a note to teach Ether more technology stuff, and he will...
At this point, the speaker's going off, and Optimus can understand that it's saying a number of your native life forms are attempting to gain access to this craft. We are authorized to use lethal force to repel borders.
Is it my turn?
Are you talking? Because I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I say, is it my turn? Or are we
yes.
not necessarily?
We're kind of. I guess we're kind of out of initiative. I'm kind of drifting in and out of it a bit. As some people are trying to break in and stuff, and you're reacting to things. And
okay, well, I say, listen. You started off hostile, and if you take any violent, hurtful, or deadly force against any of my team, that will be a sure sign to us that we need to kick your bottoms. So please just turn around and leave. We don't recognize your authority here, and if there's one thing I hate, it's bootlicking people coming and oppressing people who weren't hurting them. So you can just take your law and order bottoms back to where you came from. And I say that very sternly, but I just can't.
all right, give me an intimidation check, I guess, or you can make it a.
I'm way not as good at this.
Yeah, I think intimidation really seems the most appropriate, unless you've got a different candidate.
That's a natural one.
All right, I guess we're back to initiative, and let's roll it again, because why not? Everyone, please call it off.
Goddamn.
7.
You just
14.
Oh man, I was trying really hard to be super like hardcore.
11 again.
18.
All right, so inside the craft, for the benefit of the readers, there's the two aliens who are looking at each other, and one of them says, "You know, that one chimp person looks close enough. Do you think?" The other one shrugs. "Sure. I think we can pass them off for it. I mean, they're probably just in disguise, right?" The other one says, "Right," and they reach for the joysticks with their tentacles or whatever appendages they have. And yeah, at that point, like the ship kind of like goes red, and the turrets pop out again, and looks like they're back to fisticuffs. So, Opti, it looks like you've inspired them to action.
Okay, well, I may not be able to. Well, I'm able to. I don't want to hurt them necessarily, but I am sick to death of their weapons of destruction. So I'm just gonna go to town on this ship. Just unleash my very hardest core attack on the weapons of this ship. So I'm gonna do my +5 again. So that's an 18. Well, actually, I guess it's a 13 to attack the ship.
13 is not quite enough. You fire at the ship, it sort of moves a bit, like to the left, and it seems to move without any apparent obvious thrust, which Gravistar, that confirms your anti-grav drive theory, or no, sorry, that was Astrochimp. That confirms your anti-grav, at least planetary drive theory, so maybe Gravistar can do something with that.
Well, I apparently can't.
Blast misses, and yeah, there's the panel shows a number of different civilians and mall food court employees taking cover in the wreckage of an orange Julius, looking up as Opti fires off a blast at the spaceship. All right, next is them, as this sort of large cannon thing pops out the nose of this and fires at Astrochimp.
All right, so we have rested, right? So I can use one of my gadgets again.
Yes, I'm going to use my hero point because I don't like that one I rolled.
All right. So I'm gonna grab. So everybody sees Astrochimp like gets a little device that turns into a huge gun, and he points it at the alien ship. And this is like a massive, oversized, Yeah,
well, they're actually targeting you right now, though. So a 34 is gonna hit against your dodge.
All right, yeah, that's gonna hit.
All right, and by how much? Or no, I guess that means you have to make a, in this case, it's a
toughness
fortitude save. Or fortitude save. Yep, it's not an actual, like, as the blast hits you, you realize it's creating some sort of a field around you, like a kinetic field around you, like a force cage, and it's starting to try to pull you in. So, I think a fortitude save, to resist that.
Yep, I assume a 5 is really bad.
Oh god, you're like completely immobilized. Let's see here. Helpless, I think, is the worst of the conditions. Hampered is one of them, but it's kind of irrelevant considering the other ones. But yeah, you're essentially you can't move. You can only take a standard action. And you're being pulled towards this thing by its tractor beam. You can see this bay opening up. Looks like they're about to abduct you.
Oh no.
You're close enough to their profile. All right. Next would be... Well, Astrochimp, it's your turn.
All right, so... Yeah, can I use my gadget with my standard action?
What does... using your gadget require action-wise? Like,
it's whatever.
What do you have to do physically?
Physically, it's whatever the power is. So this is a nullify. So that's just standard action.
All right, so you're kind of able to just reach the button and fire it off, and use your standard action to nullify that. Then.
Yeah, so it's a broad spectrum technology nullify. So I'm it's precise. I'm sort of aiming it at the whatever the tractor beam is.
All right, the tractor beam deactivates. It worked just like you designed it to against alien technology on the first try. That is pretty impressive.
It's like, and he's like, looks like your technology isn't that impressive, huh? But they can't understand him, so I guess.
All right, Gravistar, it's your turn.
Alrighty. I'm going to try to envelope this thing into my own gravity field to keep them from going anywhere.
Do you have any sort of sense that applies to gravity fields?
I do have gravity sense.
You can definitely sense there's basically multiple different gravity fields within the craft itself, like one's inside of it, another one's like kind of a thin barrier type, probably like an inertial barrier of some kind, and the other one's like a ship-wide one that seems to be interacting with the immediate outside gravity to move it around.
Alrighty, so I'm going to try to use my gravity control to negate their movement. Then.
All right, what's the level of that power?
It's rank 20.
Oh yeah, you basically that's cute. They're using gravity to fly, and you've got control of their ship. At least its movement.
Alrighty, Astrochimp, have your way with them. They're not going anywhere.
Gives you a thumbs up. Is Aether next, or?
Probably.
After 11 is Ether on 7. Yes, Ether, what are you doing? You're up there. The ship's
I'm trying to get it
a little bit.
Yeah. I guess would I've had time to, by this point, with not finding the right hatch, kind of take a second to look again and see if I can figure out which one the right hatch is to aim for it, because that's what Astrochimp was directing me to.
Yep, give me another technology roll, this time without the +2.
23.
All right, you find the hatch. You take a look at it. You find a thing that looks like, hey, this maybe looks like it's an emergency pole thing, right? It's a spaceship. If you're outside of a spaceship, you don't want too many things, blocking access to getting back inside the airlock if something goes wrong. And you find what you think is the most likely thing to an emergency release, and you pop this thing open, and it works. You have now popped this thing open, and it looks like inside is a small room with another door on the way in. Makes sense they'd have an airlock, right?
Yeah. Is there anything else in the room, or is it just an empty airlock type of room?
It's an empty airlock type room. It's probably about roughly 3.5 by 3.5 meters cube. So 3.5 by 3.5 by 3.5, I guess I would have to say, but.
Okay. So I don't know if that used up my action / movement already.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you have something else.
Yeah, I'm going to end up going in, but that's going to probably take another one. So.
All right, so Opti, it's your turn again. Sounds like Gravistar has done something to the ship.
I also want to do something to the ship. If I look down below, if it comes crashing down right now, is it going to hurt anything directly below it? Did you hear me talking?
Yes, I was thinking.
Okay.
There's a good chunk of the food court it would land on. However, a lot of the people have fled and been evacuated from it. there's still a good chance that there might be somebody hiding somewhere here and there that you can't anticipate. So it's a bit risky. If you drop it in the parking lot, that'd be great, but then there's still a lot of cars out there, and the chance of somebody like hanging out in their car, taking a nap between shifts or something, it's hard to say.
Okay. Then that's an automatic no-no. If there's even a chance, then we can't take it. So I'm going to... All these guys are making me so mad. Can I see them? Like, do they have like a windshield?
Not that you can see through. Looking at the shape of the ship, you've got a pretty good idea of like where the beings would be, probably. That's more or less in the middle in the front, but you can't see through like a view screen or something.
And what does it look like Gravistar did? Am I able to tell?
Nothing.
Okay.
Didn't look like he did anything. Except to the people who read the comic books, there's like squiggly lines around to like kind of show where he's messed with the gravity fields, but to your eyes, nothing.
Okay, well, I'm going to do something dumb. And I'm going to power up my force field and make it into a ball. And then I'm just going to fly really fast into the ship and see if I can't knock it towards the parking lot.
Well, Gravistar, would you like to allow this thing to be knocked toward the parking lot? You're in control of its movement, basically, or its position.
Yeah, if Opti wants this thing in the parking lot, we can help put it in the parking lot.
All right, so Opti, you go flying into the thing, you bang into it, and it rings your bell a bit. You have like a moment where you're stunned. You look at the thing, goes swooping and instead of spinning a bit over, like right in the parking lot, over in this big empty area where like there's only a few cars parked over there. That was perfect. That like worked amazingly well.
I feel really good about that. that's why I'm a superhero. Yeah,
All right,
that's my
then
turn.
they go and they start firing, and they don't appear to have control over their movement. They're kind of like spinning towards this section of the parking lot. So like there's blasts that are going off in somewhat random directions now, and like the JC Penney sign that's all lit up, like it hits like right where the C is, and like blasts out. There's a huge explosion. The whole like wall and plaster and bricks go flying out, and there's like a couple of blasts that like fly out just out into the air and don't seem to hit anything. And there's another one that like there's a Chi-Chi's like a little ways away from them all, but like not attached to it. Like that gets nailed and just like the sign goes up. Like for a moment you're like, oh no, the whole restaurant full of people, and you realize it's just the Chi-Chi's sign got blown up. So, whew. And other than like an impressive display of destruction, there's no actual real damage done or lives lost or harm caused, except to the buildings and signs. R.I.P. J.C. Penney's. All right. After that, I guess I'm 14 Astrochimp.
All right, so this thing's still shooting, right?
Yes, it seems to be randomly shooting now.
All right, it's could potentially get dangerous. So I'm gonna charge up my broad spectrum nullifier and try to try to deactivate their weapons. And I would need to make an attack roll. All right, does a 24 hit?
A 24 does hit, and I rolled like crap on the resistance roll. So yeah, like their weapon systems all like shut down, like the turrets retract. They also close up. And where once it was bristling with these turrets and guns and lasers and things popping out, now it's more or less smooth and sleek.
do like a cool slow reload with my nullifier.
All right, next is Gravistar. You got control over the, more or less the motion of this ship. What are you doing?
Well, maintain control of that so they don't go anywhere. And let's see. Just broadcast on the comlinks to the whole team that I have the ship immobilized, so they're not going anywhere until I let them go anywhere. But that's got me tied up. Then I'll
respond to you, letting you know that I'm on the ship. Like, if I don't want to take like part of your turn or anything, but just like the second you say that, I'll be like, yeah, I'm here. FYI, if you need me to do something, say so.
Yeah, I was actually going to fly down and join Ether in the airlock. She left a hatch open, right?
Sorry, I didn't touch talk. Yeah.
Yep, she popped the hatch open. It was pretty obvious. It was like an emergency release, so the thing swung open a bit more flashy than a normal door opening.
So yeah, so just fly down and join Ether in the airlock.
All right, and Ether, you're in the airlock. You've just been joined by Gravistar.
All right, I'll look over at him and give him a nod, and I'm going to open the door.
All right, this one is not as secured as the other, but still, it's alien technology, so give me a tech roll.
These are the worst. Help! I got an 8.
You have no idea what to do to open the door. You don't know what any of those controls might do. You take a look at them for a while, and you like press some buttons and pull a lever, and nothing seems to happen.
Maybe you should open it.
I guess we're at this point more or less out of initiative. I mean, there's no guns working anymore. They can't fly away. So I think we'll stick around here. So between you and Gravistar, like you turn, I imagine between the two of you can get this lock open, and you pop it open and find, yeah, there's a weird looking alien like right in front of you inside of, it's wearing what looks like must be some sort of like an armored spacesuit thing, and has what looks like a few different weapons on it, but they could be scanners or other devices or smartphones as far as you can tell.
And
this is definitely like a weird, like non-humanoid looking alien thing.
And I think that's probably where we're going to have to stop.
Yep.
That's a cool place to stop so we can remember exactly where we picked up.
Right, remember the alien encounter at the end.
We opened up an alien spaceship, and yeah. Well, thanks everybody for being here.
I had a lot of fun with the chat interaction tonight.
Yeah, I thought we did some cool creating. We should create together more often. And I think a lot of our cool stuff came from the chat in the first place, like over on Discord. So we have the NB Werewolf and the
Pride Star.
And Pride Star. I didn't know that one came from chat or from fans as well.
I think the same source.
And we also had the Chimp, the Terra Chimp, and then her name being Terra, and also the fact that she was wanted by an intergalactic police force. So you guys this was like your episode. Thanks, chat. You guys are great.
Yeah, it was great. I knew I wanted to have something a little bit more, like we've been hitting it hard pretty much with most of the adventures up until now. I want to have something where like there's a little bit more breathing room, but still important things are happening. It's moving the story forward, and I think I ended up leaving a lot of that up to sort of chance and seeing what would actually. A lot of my plans had to do with starting with Core waking up in the infirmary, and plans. Players, the two don't go together. No worries or shade at all on Sarah. It sucks to be sick.
We hope she gets better soon.
honestly, I went into this session with very little preparation and expectations. I wanted to see what you would do with what you had so far, and what would come of that. So I hope Sue showing up for the nurse job isn't too much of a stretch. I just love that character so much and wanted to use her as something other than a supervillain afterwards.
I think it was great.
Yeah, Estrogen loves her in a platonic way.
We had two situations that Opti was very conflicted about this time. It's like, on one hand, like wants to make peace with the first contact with alien races, and he wants it to be good, but there's such douches that like
right. They're crappy rent-a-cops or bounty hunters.
And then he gives food to a Tyrannosaurus, and like they manipulate him into letting their evil henchmen and bosses get away with stuff. So yeah, conflict. I liked it.
What can I say? She's got she's a professional. She follows through on the job as best she can. But
so at least she'll be around. Like if anybody ever attacks the headquarters again, then you'd be like, well, at least Sue's there.
She's a professional Tyrannosaurus working woman.
And also, I apologize to Whitney for speaking over Aether. Because I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to pay attention to chat, and Opti ended up looking like a real asshole.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, he's just eager. It's okay.
I thought it was a fun role-playing opportunity, but I also didn't want you to feel personally
bad.
No.
I personally did it, but I thought it was fun in the way you role-played it, so it was fun. I really don't have any problems with the traditional white straight-laced superhero guy being put in his place once in a while. I think that's what the Optiverse is good for.
Cool. That was the vibe I got too, and I kind of ran with it. So I'm glad I read it well. And yeah, that was a fun moment. Lots of good role play with everybody here.
I agree. I wish we could get Bob's setup to work. Because we
it
enjoy...
sucks to have him roboting out so much. I want to hear more from Gravistar and what's going on. He's had just big deal stuff happening in his life lately.
Well, I'm planning on purchasing some new gear this week because obviously what I'm using is not appropriate.
Well, if you need assistance, let us know. I think the Optiverse is responsible for more people buying headsets and new microphones than any other single source on the internet.
Well, I think I got my audio straightened out, but unfortunately when I'm using this setup, I have no video, so that's why I need to coordinate here.
Gotcha. Well, all right, everybody. I think we're good. Any other cast want to say anything cool? Or anything not cool? I don't care.
Thanks,
Earth's gone.
guys.
Kickstarter. Almost done. Last stretch goal in reach.
Yeah, I think actually Sarah would want us to mention too that Rem Alternis has their Kickstarter happening, I think, in 4 or 5 days. So keep an eye out
It's so soon.
What is it? Chicago Shadows? I think that's what it's called. So keep an eye out for that, and go head over to the Earth Dawn Kickstarter for their new book. And yeah, we'll see you back on Monday for more Variants, which will be the second to last episode of this season of the Variants. And then something special after that. The Cosmic Corsairs will ascend into your face. So looking forward to that. So, all right, everybody.
We've reached the midpoint of the first series of this one, right? We have 4 more to go of the Justicars first season.
That's right. So yeah, we've hit number 4, and we're halfway. We got 4 more, and then after that, the Guardian Allies will pick up in our time slot for their World War II run.
Let's end things with an Excelsior then. How should we time it? Whitney, let's leave it up to you.
Oh, geez.
Let's time our Excelsior. do you
I guess-
coordinate this? Let's do it. What's your plan?
I'll say 1, 2, 3, and then everybody goes. Is that good?
Yeah.
So after 3 or
All right.
on 3?
It'll be after 3. That was a good.
1, 2,
specific.
3, and then the word. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone else who's listening at home, along with us.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3.
Excelsior!
Excelsior!
My
Yay! It was perfect. No, it was perfect.
All right.
I'll stick to that story.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job.
We will see you next time.
We want to raid somebody.
Good night.
Oh, wait. I don't know how to raid people. How do we do that?
Let's raid relative D-Pod.
I don't know how to do
Joe
that.
over relative dimensions. Are you logged in as Shadowcasters Network?
No. I'm just
me either.
pretend-
All right, I guess everybody check out Relative Dimension. They are Joe has actually run My Little Pony for us a couple of times, and he does some cool campaigns over there. Shadowrun Deadlands, other stuff. I don't know what he's up to now, but it's what is the channel name? It is Relative D-Pod.
How do you normally raid? How would you do that?
There's a button or something.
It's
Or
like
maybe
slash raid. Then the
And-
username.
Yeah, /raid space the channel name I think works, but
Yeah.
I haven't done it in ages, and I rarely get it right anyway because it always turns out to be like they just finished their stream or something when I do it.
Okay, I think I just did it. Maybe.
Yeah. It's working.
All right.
Yay!
Cool.
We're raiding.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.